I never thought my own blood would shatter my world with just a few words. But there I was, staring at my father across the kitchen table, when he confessed something that ripped the ground out from under me. His voice shook, but not with regret, more like shame. You had a twin brother," he whispered. My chest tightened, my heart pounding so hard I thought it would break through my ribs. A twin? My whole life, I'd felt like something was missing, an emptiness I couldn't explain. And now, suddenly, it made sense. Except it wasn't beautiful, it was cruel. Because my father hadn't just hidden the truth. He admitted they gave him away. Like he was nothing. Like I was nothing. Rage and disbelief boiled in me all at once. That was the moment I decided this betrayal would not go unanswered. If you found out your parents gave away your twin and kept it secret your whole life, what would you do? Would you forgive them, or would you walk away forever? Tell me in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. Before that night, my life felt ordinary, quiet, simple, and at least I thought, honest. I grew up in a modest house in Ohio with my father, Douglas Kane, and my mother, Martha Kane. Douglas was the kind of man people admired from afar, firm handshake, steady voice, and a reputation in town for being reliable. To everyone else, he was the perfect dad. To me, he was distant but steady, the kind of parent you didn't question because questioning him was pointless. I'd always been curious about the little gaps in my childhood stories, why there were no baby albums before I turned 2, or why certain questions about my birth were brushed aside. Whenever I asked, Dad would shut me down with a sharp, "Some things aren't worth digging into, Claire." But one evening, after dinner, his mask cracked. He sat across from me, shoulders hunched, his coffee untouched. His eyes didn't meet mine when he said, "There's something I should have told you years ago." My stomach tightened. Then came the words that changed everything. "You had a twin."
A boy.
We gave him away." My ears rang, and my mind screamed for him to take it back. Who gives away their child? Who keeps that secret buried for over 2 decades? And worse, why was he only telling me now? In that moment, Douglas wasn't my father. He was a stranger who had stolen a part of me, a brother I never got to love, a truth I never got to live. That night, I lay awake staring at the ceiling, every word replaying in my head like a broken record. "You had a twin, we gave him away." I pressed my hands against my chest as if I could hold my heart together, but nothing could stop the ache. I felt like my entire identity had been stolen from me. The next morning, I tried to confront my mother, Martha. She froze, her face pale. Her lips trembled, but she offered nothing, just silence. That silence screamed louder than any confession. She knew. She had known all along. I wanted to scream, to break something, but instead I just stood there, shaking, whispering, "How could you?" Her eyes welled with tears, but she turned away. That was the moment I realized I couldn't rely on either of them for answers. Every interaction with Douglas after that felt poisoned. His once proud voice now sounded hollow. When he tried to justify himself, we were young, struggling, we thought it was the right thing. I cut him off. Right for who? Not for me. Not for the brother I never met. I was raised in a home full of lies, and the people I trusted most were the ones who crafted them. I withdrew from friends, stopped going out, even skipped work some days. Nights were the hardest. I'd imagine a boy out there who shared my face, my blood, maybe even my quirks, living a life completely separate from mine because of one selfish decision. And then the questions would stab me all over again. Did he know about me? Did he wonder where I was? But buried inside that pain, something else began to grow. Anger. Not the wild, messy kind, but sharp, deliberate fury. I knew one thing. I wasn't going to stay broken. If my parents thought they could bury their lies forever, they were about to learn just how wrong they were. I stopped asking Douglas and Martha for the truth, because I realized I'd never get it from them. If I wanted answers, I had to find them myself. Quietly, I began collecting fragments, birth certificates, hospital records, anything I could dig up. Some nights I'd drive out to the county clerk's office just to scroll through dusty archives, my hands shaking with both fear and anticipation. I didn't tell a soul what I was doing. To my parents, I played the obedient daughter, nodding silently at the dinner table, pretending their secret hadn't torn me apart. But behind closed doors, I was piecing together the puzzle they thought was destroyed. And slowly, I began to see the outlines of a plan forming, not just to find the brother they stole from me, but to expose the people who thought they could play God with our lives. They wanted this buried. I was going to dig it up. And when I did, the world would see them for who they really were. It took months of searching, dead ends, and restless nights before I finally found him. His name was Ethan Wilder, and when I first saw his picture, my knees nearly gave out. He looked like me, same sharp chin, same dark eyes. My heart ached, but this time with something stronger than grief. It was recognition. I reached out to him cautiously, unsure if he'd even want to know me. But when we met, it was like breathing for the first time. Ethan admitted he always felt out of place, like something was missing. When I told him why, he stared at me in stunned silence before pulling me into the tightest hug I'd ever felt. In that moment, I knew the lie our parents built had already started crumbling. Together, we decided the truth had to come out. So we planned it carefully. At a family gathering, in front of our relatives and neighbors, I walked in with Ethan by my side. Conversations froze. Faces turned pale. And then I said the words that cut deeper than any knife. "Meet my brother," the one Douglas and Martha gave away. The room erupted. Gasps, whispers, stares, all aimed at my parents. Douglas stumbled to his feet, his face drained of color, while Martha's hands shook so violently she dropped her glass. For once, their power was gone. No excuses could erase Ethan standing there, living proof of their betrayal. Douglas tried to speak, but his words cracked under the weight of the truth. Ethan didn't say much, he didn't have to. His presence was enough. Watching my parents shrink under the shame, their perfect image shattering in front of everyone they'd ever tried to impress, I felt the anger in my chest loosen. Justice wasn't always about punishment. Sometimes it was about exposure. And tonight, they were exposed. When the chaos of that night finally settled, I found myself sitting alone, staring at the pieces of my life scattered across the floor. My parents, people I once believed were unshakable, were suddenly fragile, broken under the weight of their own lies. For the first time in years, I felt like I had the power. But strangely, it wasn't triumph I felt most, it was clarity. Revenge had never been about destroying them. It had been about reclaiming what was stolen from me. The truth, my identity, my brother. Growing up, I thought strength meant obedience, silence, swallowing my questions to keep the peace. But I was wrong. Strength was in refusing to let someone else dictate my story. Looking back, I realized the deepest cut wasn't losing a brother, it was losing trust. Family is supposed to protect you, nurture you, love you unconditionally. Instead, mine had lied and decided my fate without ever giving me a voice. That kind of betrayal doesn't heal overnight. But through it all, I discovered something unexpected. Resilience. I wasn't just Douglas and Martha's daughter anymore. I was Claire, the sister Ethan had been searching for, the woman who pulled truth from the shadows. If there's one thing I learned, it's this. Sometimes revenge isn't about vengeance at all. It's about turning pain into power and reminding yourself that you matter, even when the people closest to you fail to see it. After everything unraveled, life didn't magically become perfect, but it became real. Ethan and I began spending time together, cautiously at first, then with the ease of siblings who had been waiting their whole lives to find each other. Sunday breakfasts, late-night phone calls, even simple things like arguing over which pizza toppings to order. It all felt like filling in a missing piece of myself. As for Douglas and Martha, the fallout was inevitable. Neighbors whispered, relatives distanced themselves, and their reputation, once so polished, crumbled to dust. My father tried to repair things with shallow apologies, but words meant little after decades of deceit. My mother retreated into silence, the weight of her choices written in every line of her face. I didn't seek legal punishment. Their sentence was far worse, living with the shame they created and knowing they could never rewrite the truth I had unearthed. For once, the power was mine. Life moved forward. I felt lighter, freer, like the world finally fit me. I had my brother, I had my truth, and I had a future that wasn't bound by their lies. Healing wasn't instant, but it was real. And each step I took with Ethan by my side reminded me that even the deepest betrayals can lead to unexpected new beginnings. I wasn't the girl in the dark anymore. I was the woman who had chosen light. Sometimes, revenge isn't about hurting the people who broke you. It's about finding the missing pieces of yourself they tried to hide. For me, it wasn't just about exposing Douglas and Martha. It was about standing tall beside Ethan, finally complete after years of emptiness I couldn't explain. Betrayal may shape us, but it doesn't define us. We get to choose how the story ends. So, what do you think? If your parents confessed a secret this big, would you forgive them? Or would you take back control like I did? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories like mine.